Welcome to the Insurance Brokers Podcast, Stephen and Melissa. It's great to have you both here. So I know we're going to do a quick update, Melissa, off from our podcast that we did a month or two ago now, isn't it? On the incredible things that the CII are doing to support the learning journey of not just the membership base, is it? Having had a look this morning. So with that in mind, maybe Melissa, you can give us a bit of background on what the EATT Learning Fund is, who supports it, and how members can access.
Sure, Sarah, I'm happy to do that. And we call the EATT Learning Fund, or EAT for short. It's not about food or eating, despite its name. EAT stands for Education and Training Trust, which is a charity within the CII group. So the Education and Training Trust, or EAT, was set up to advance the education and training of people who are working within the sector of insurance and allied occupations, such as financial planning, and also those who want to work in that sector. And in addition, it was set up to help educate the general public about the role of insurance in society. So I can tell you a bit more now about the specific EAT Learning Fund. So in response to COVID, the charity decided it wanted to help those people within the profession who are suffering from financial hardship, in order for them to be able to pursue their studies, training, and gain qualifications during this time. Particularly wants to help those who may be redundant, on furlough, suffering business collapse, or who have a particular concern about their finances at this time due to circumstances surrounding the pandemic. So we really wanted to help those people, and that is what the EAT Learning Fund was set up to do.
Have you had much uptake on it thus far? Because we're only a few months in, obviously a new launch like something like this.
Yes, absolutely. There has been significant uptake. There's been a lot of applications, and that's why it was actually set up as a pilot to see whether there would be interest in it, and that interest has actually now demonstrated that there could be potential to take it further and extend it beyond the current time.
That's incredible. I presume, Stephen, you've had some involvement in this as well, given your background in terms of charity and education governance.
Yes, that's right, Sarah. I was keen that we found a way to respond to the COVID situation, which has impacted obviously everywhere and everyone to a greater or lesser extent. And certainly in all the other charities I work in, either as professionally as a consultant or as a trustee, I found a way to come up with a response. I think it's probably fair to say that it was a little more challenging in the case of EAT because of the restrictions technically of the articles and finding a way of delivering it, which we'll come to in a moment, and Melissa can talk about that. But I was really delighted with Melissa's support that we were able to get the board to readily agree to this initiative. And as you say, it's only just up and running in effect. And often with new initiatives like this, despite the circumstances we're in, these things do sometimes take a little while to gain traction and build a bit of momentum.
I think what you're doing is incredible. a lot of the conversations I'm having with my client and prospect base at the moment is around the way the world is coming, what is coming in the world, should I say? So a hardening market, all of the consequences of COVID-19 on the economy and the industry as a whole. And one of the themes that absolutely comes out of almost every conversation I have is this need to do training, self-development, education around your topics, so you are really as clued up as you can be to be able to support your client base. And it's coming out from every single conversation I have. So I think it's really incredible what you guys have done to enable people that might be in a position where they wouldn't otherwise have been able to afford this kind of training. I think it's amazing. So what's the rationale with teaming up with the insurance charities behind this?
So thanks, Sarah. The insurance charities, for those who are listening, it will be well known to anyone working in the insurance sector. It's been around for many, many years, and it has huge experience in helping people who are suffering financial hardship to get back on their feet and to help, provide assistance to them in their hour of need. And so with that experience in mind, we thought they would be the ideal partners for this project, because not only would they be able to administer this grant that's been made for professionals suffering hardship under COVID, but those people who need further assistance beyond the need for professional development and training, perhaps they have specific needs on a personal level, the insurance charities can also help with that. So it's a way to help people not only access training at this time, but to actually provide further access to further funds should the need be there.
I think the highlighting the EATT fund and the insurance charities as a whole is quite important, because as I often say, and I know you guys are aware, I have I volunteer for Cambridge CII, so I do their CPD events. But the insurance charities is something we talk about at every council meeting, but I still think there's a lot that could be done to promote the insurance charities, what they do, how they do it, and the benefits of it to our industry as a whole. So I think it's a really great thing to do.
I think that EATT is for the profession, okay, but it's also for the general public in terms of the charity's objects in general. This learning fund is for professionals working in the sector. However, it's not just for CII members. It's open to anybody in the sector who has a need for training and professional development and is suffering financial hardship, so they can't afford to do it at the moment. So that is something I'd really like to emphasize. In broader terms, my thinking of, why I think it's so important that this fund was set up at this time is that I think the need for training and professional development at this time has never been greater. And, this kind of break, this pause that some of us have experienced is sort of the perfect opportunity to reskill. And why is it important for the profession to do that? The ultimate aim is to improve outcomes for customers. So that's the whole purpose of it all. That's the purpose of the CII, is to build public trust in the profession, so the profession can help the public get better outcomes, get the best advice for their needs, to help them protect their assets and the things that are important to them from difficulties like the time that we're in. So I see that as all kind of supporting the CII's overall purpose through its charitable arm.
Absolutely. Stephen, why can you talk to us a bit around why the trustees made the grants?
Yeah, I mean, we've covered a bit of it, but it's important, I think, to note that EATT for a number of years was moribund for technical reasons, and I was recruited along with a couple of other trustees to help get over that situation, which I'm pleased to say we now have, and we've now recruited some more trustees. So we have, in effect, a new trustee board, which I think should be noted. And it meant that for a number of years, EATT hadn't actually made any grants. And the business of a grant-making charity is to look after the assets and use them to benefit society and the beneficiaries. So the COVID-19 situation presented an opportunity to cut through all the formalities and processes that we're embarked on now to operationalize the charity and start making grants, because the problem came up. We had to find a solution quickly. We were able to do that, and we were able to make a grant, which was fantastic. And it now means, in the same way that the COVID crisis has accelerated all sorts of things in society, from developing vaccines in record time to responding to the financial situation by government and so on. I think, in a way, the silver lining for us is going to be this has kick-started the way we do things, and I'm hoping that we'll have a rapid program for making further grant making in the not too distant future.
On that theme, what are EATT's objectives and plans for the future?
Well, it's very much open for discussion. We've actually got a virtual strategy away day type event booked, which is going to be interesting. I don't think the refreshments are going to be much good handed round, but we'll all be chipping in, and we've just been working on the agenda for it. And I would like to, apart from the usual things that you do on a day like that, as you well know, Sarah, you know, focusing on the future and just deciding where you want to be and all that sort of stuff, and vision and things. I want to use a piece of work that's just come up in my sector from the Association of Charitable Foundations. They've published a new report on the critical importance of strategic thinking and strong governance practices for charitable foundations that want to be ambitious and effective with all their resources. So we'll be looking at that as the basis for our discussions, and very much hoping that by the end of that day we'll have agreed a process and a path for taking things forward.
Strategic efficiencies is something that I spend 90% of my life doing with clients, so I understand that very, very well. Yep. And the concept of a virtual away day, I love.
I'll let you know how it goes.
I'll be very interested. We've talked quite a bit around how EATT is going to help the profession, but I wonder if there's any more you'd both like to add in direct response to the question, how will this help our profession as a whole? Stephen?
Yeah, it's a bit of a sensitive one, really, but I'm going to say it anyway. I think the insurance industry is not covering itself in glory at the moment for reasons that we'll all understand, and I think it's the subject of legal proceedings currently. But in the charity business, the worst thing that can happen to you really is reputational damage, because it affects your ability to raise funds as a charity. It affects your integrity, and you've seen several high-profile cases recently. In the insurance business, reputation is equally important, and the extent to which we can help repair or shore up the reputation of the insurance industry by starting to make grants for the benefit of society. And as already been mentioned, the scheme that we're currently doing is not just for CII members, it's open to everyone in the profession. I think will help in a little way to address that situation.
Anything you'd like to add, Melissa? I completely agree with what you're saying, Stephen, in terms of how it can benefit the reputational boost for the industry.
I completely agree with Stephen's sentiments there. There is a need to repair trust, and I think that the way the CII sees that and sees its role is by providing the ability for people to learn, upskill themselves, gain qualifications, and so that's why I think this is incredibly important at this time, to ensure that people can still continue to do that even in this time of crisis. So I would really urge anybody listening to this who wants to develop, get some further training, perhaps even obtain a qualification in their chosen subject around insurance and financial planning, I'd say contact the insurance charities who is administering this particular scheme, and find out more about how they can help you. You know, it's not just about technical training. It's about skills like communication skills, time management skills, all kinds of soft skills are also covered by the scheme, along with sort of traditional courses that the CII and other companies offer. So it's very, very open to people's particular circumstances, and you know, I just encourage people to reach out and see if they're eligible.
I shall make sure the links that you guys have sent me are included in the show notes, and if there's anything else you'd like me to link in with the show notes, then please send it to me, and when this goes out, I would encourage everybody to read the show notes and click on the relevant links if interested. Is there anything else you guys like to add before we wrap up?
No, I think that's everything. Thanks very much for talking with us today and giving us a platform to promote this project, which we're keen to see succeed.
Well, thank you very much for your time. I think it's incredible what you're doing, and it's really interesting to hear about it. And actually, through my conversations with my client base, I'm always talking about the CII. So if I see an opportunity to mention this, I certainly will.
Thank you.
Have a lovely day.